Alrighty, yo, hey guys, it's Beast back with some more beastly content. So I hope you enjoyed that little intro there. I feel that it showed most of the base. I just want to talk about it a little bit. So first things first, you may notice there's a lot of supply benches here. Now these are actually here for battery production when I actually go to make a bunch of batteries for the Stardust pump array that we do have. I did show that in the little cinematic thing I did there. However, let's go ahead and talk about this. So for deviations, every single plot has 8 of the electric eels. It has 1 gross shroom. There is going to be 1 extra dimensional cat, 1 silver nutcracker, and that is it. So it's silver gentleman nutcracker and then the extra dimensional cat. The best perks from what I've seen is worn out on the silver gentleman actually, and then if you can get growing pains 2 with worn out 2, that is the best combo. I have a growing pains 3 with worn out 2 on this specific plot, but the other plots have different perks. I have all the different silver gentlemans. I'm testing it out and seeing like which traits are actually 100% the best, because there's a couple different traits that work for it and do keep your, like, as you can see, 90, 98, and 73. Very good. We could even refresh and get a whole bunch of energy. I wish that was a higher level. 100. Once again, well, see, it is a higher level, but it doesn't have anything that's boosting its deviant power, which is like the key thing for these, and that guy's really weak at 90. Regardless, that's deviations. It's 4 of them, so that's a total of what is actually going to be 32 eels, 36 digvies, 4 silver nutcrackers, 4 space cats, and 4 gross shrooms. I do believe I spent like 2 or 3 million EL on silver gentlemen the other day, just trying to get them really quickly. I want to show you a really quick way of getting these absolutely for free. Currently, well, actually I can't even show it to you here unless it's hiding over here. Nope, it's not. Okay, so there was an event going on over here. It was like the the nutcracker event itself, and at the end of it you can actually choose whatever nutcracker you want. So you can choose the silver gentleman. So if you did that on 4 alts, you could easily get your silver nutcrackers or your silver gentleman nutcrackers, or once again all of your alts, have all 8 of them done. It's super duper easy, no problem. You just have to transfer 1 season, which is a problem for me. So maybe in Way of Wonder we'll be doing that to get some more silver gentleman nutcrackers and try for some different traits. But on to the next thing, I want to go ahead and show you my water purification setup. Now, I showed this in the little cinematic thing, but not for very long. So let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and explain the entire setup and how maybe I could improve this in the future, and have debated on going ahead and doing. I'm not 100% sure yet. I do still have more function facility here to work with, and I think I might actually be able to use it on this and make it just a little bit better. But it is 14 pumps, 7 osmosis purifiers, that's what we're going to call them. I don't care that it says large water filters. I have a name, I'm stuck on it now. So, and then of course 7 water storage containers for this portion of it. We're going to get onto the pumps in a second, but for now we're going to cover the pumps. So, you know, they need to rename one of these, I swear they do. But as you can see here, we have 2 pumps feeding into 1 osmosis purifier. This is all just gravity fed, so we don't have to worry about like any lines or anything. And then the osmosis purifier gravity feeds to the water storage container, which is then going to be pumped up into our pump array. Our pump array consists of 7 pumps, the same number as the water storage containers, so that each water storage container's water will individually be pumped into all 3 of these water tanks right here. What that means and what that allows is that even if one of these containers is filled, which they're all also down trickling into each other down into this bottom one right here, they will all continuously be like losing space and gaining more slots to actually have water placed. So it should keep it from filling too quickly. And then this bottom one here is a reserve tank, but it's also watering the crop facility right here. So reserve tank, so it sits here and I can collect water from this and go put it in the other facilities that are on plots that don't actually have a water purification setup, because this is going to cover the water for all of the areas. I know it's going to easily do it. I think I'm going to have to go through and do like 4 stacks at a time per facility. But let's go ahead and check out the water here. It's probably going to be pretty impure acid. It's pumping a lot of impure acid. So I remember hearing something on an update about how you could control what was being pumped with the pumps, and since I have them in water, we're going to check on that now. Alrighty, so it does not appear that we can actually control what it is currently pumping. We are getting water in this, and it does seem to actually be filling our thing. However, so 171, we're gonna go and make sure this is like decently filled at least. That's a lot of, yeah, 1,000 and 1,000. So as long as this is stay filled, We're probably going to be getting water from somewhere else, it does seem. This does seem to be pumping a lot of impure acid though, so we might actually want to go ahead and collect that. I can go ahead and get it into the next thing, because the next thing I want to talk about is going to be just by heading back through these doors. So there's plot facility. Like I said, there's 2 irrigators here, 2 lights. It's a 2x2 and a 2x2, so it's 4x2. And then on the other side, on the other player plot, it's just mirrored, and I have a water storage container over there feeding into the irrigators over there. So yeah, pretty simple setup. As you can see here, all of our generators are just ran down like this little hallway right here for this side, and the same thing for the other side. It's just not in glass. The reason I didn't do the whole thing in glass, unfortunately, is due to the fact that all of my alts are created on separate Steam accounts. You're only allowed to share a skin with up to 3 different, I think it's 4 total accounts you can share it with, actually. So yeah, 4 accounts is how many I was able to share it with, which means I still have 3 accounts that I need to share the skin with. Technically, it could have been 3/4 glass, but I didn't really want to do that. I think I've still ended up sharing to 3/4, but it's just half glass. So here's the next thing. How much ore does the Digby's get, you may be wondering? And well, I would sit here and do a harvest, but honestly, I really like having inventory, and we might go look in the storage containers in a second. Aside from that, I do want to go ahead and talk about the brewing setup right here, and then I'll go ahead and tell you just how the actual harvest yield is from the Stardust ore mining facilities there. So this is my brewing barrel setup. I really like it, guys. This is my favorite right here, guys. So I do believe it's 14 on both player plots, so that brings us at a total of 28 brewing barrels. Super duper good. This is like 112 items per, brewing cycle, or whatever the item is, if it's a 5-minute brewing cycle or a 3-minute cycle. Regardless, it means you can get thousands of things brewed up very, very quickly. This is going to pump out a lot of acid once I get it going. I don't think I've done any of the watering. Ooh, I've done watering here, so here. We actually have all the acid and everything, so it looks like it could do at a maximum of 112 a minute, or 112 every 20 minutes of acid using impure acid, which I didn't really plan on using that much of, but it turns out even pumping in water, we're still getting a bunch of impure acid. So here we go. This is what we're going to do with that extra impure acid. It's going to go in here. We're also going to be growing contaminated plants soon. I haven't actually gotten to the growing cycle of this base yet. I've just been working on this base so long trying to get it built, and then the power went out for a week, so I haven't been able to build it. And the project just started to feel like it was taking too much time, and especially since this is the only video I've been working on because I get stuck on things. And then as you see here, I just showed you going into the other crop facility. How this door works here, I do want to go ahead and show this. I showed this in the little showcase thing. I learned this off of a video. A guy was titling this as like an elevator guide. I didn't really like the idea of calling it an elevator hearsay, but it is a good hidden door, and it can go like multi-location and everything. So like we're using 1x4 foundations here. So 1x4 foundation, 1x4 foundation, and then you can lower the elevation of a couple of them. And when you lower the elevation of a couple of them, you can actually place down a horizontal portal, place a ceiling tile off of the highest elevated foundation block, and it will actually cover up the door. And then when you walk over the door, it'll teleport you to the other door. And if you do the same thing for the other door with that lowered foundation with the ceiling tiles over top, you'll actually be able to teleport from that door to that door just by walking here. So it's like a hidden door sort of setup. It can cover farther distances. It could literally take you from one side of your base to the other side of your base and be hidden away in a hidden door. You could also do an in-wall unit. Now, I'm not going to get into too much details on an in-wall unit. It will take up more space in your base. However, if you are curious on what an in-wall unit would be, it'd just be the 1/4 walls, and then 1/4 wall. You'd also need to be using 1x4s. So, like, place 1x4 against the wall, and then 1x4 on this side, 1x4 on this side, and you'll be able to build a fake wall up here. Place the door in behind it, and you'll be able to walk into that wall and teleport to the other door. Once again, I'm not sure how it's going to do on teleporting to the other side after you walk through it, so try in-wall at your own risk. but that would be the way to do it if you were trying to do that. So aside from that though, I think I've covered pretty much everything. There's about 800 plots to this crop facility, so this should be pretty much perfect for growing my contaminated plants. I have 4 grow shoots growing on here, so I can grow up to 4 different seeds. I do believe there's only 3 contaminated plant seeds, so I might use 1 silo for something other than contaminated plants. However, I do believe that's actually the plan for what's going to be growing here, just because I do have the brewing barrels right here, and I can just dump straight away the contaminated plants harvested straight into the brewing barrels. This should be very fun to do. The last thing I really want to actually show you is going to be the collection vault, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and meet you over there now. Alrighty, and we're pretty much at the collection vault. This is just before the collection vault, actually. This is like the other side, you know. As you can see, there's the 4 Digby setups. They're all set up on the corners. It's like a little corridor way. Leads straight into the Stardust pump array. There's like 25 pumps here. I plan on making a lot of batteries, and even if I don't make a lot of batteries, putting like 4 batteries in each pump and coming back in 10 minutes is still like 5,000 Stardust sourced extremely quickly, and I can already make hundreds of batteries. So it's still a great way of making Stardust source. It's a lot quicker than oil processing, I will say, and it is great for getting build materials done. If you're just after quick source for your build, it's the way to go, especially if you don't have fuel. I am going to get a fuel set up next. That is the next base we're actually working on. But for now, we have another one of these little hidden doors here. Boom! Walk into here, and as you can see here, this was built on a different player plot than my main, so when I put a pin pad on the door, I'm actually able to enter the code. And with this whole new pin pad thing and like passwords the doors situation here, it's gotten me thinking, especially because I discovered something. So there's a reward crate on the roof of this base. If you're watching this video, you are on my Lunar Manavis server, which isn't a perma server yet, but will be in 20 days. So in 20 days, this base will be uploaded to the Luna perma server, permanent server. So it might not be in this same exact form, but when it is uploaded to the permanent server, I'm going to be dispersing reward crates all throughout the base with all sorts of different things. I'm thinking I'm actually just going to fill a bunch of different reward crates hidden all throughout the base with little different puzzles and stuff to go find that are just going to be Stardust ore, just handed to you. Thousands of Stardust ore that you can collect every single day. I'll keep it stocked and I'll use the ore from the mining facilities. Speaking of which, on a low, you get about 40k Stardust source ore if it's just like a single day of production. If it's a couple days, I've seen up to 80k. The maximum would technically be 9 times 4 times 2,000. That could be your maximum in one single collect of the Stardust mining platforms. I really wish there was some sort of way of having the ore automatically be deposited in the chest, maybe via like a deviation or something, but for now we do not currently have that. So yeah, so here's what's going on with the ore. Like I said, last harvest we got 43,000 Stardust source ore. The rest of it I've already made into Stardust ingots, stored back at base. Then we have our battery materials here. We have just, you know, parts and fabrics. The ingots that we have are ores and E-parts, and of course some rubber. That's pretty much everything though. This is primarily going to be used for Stardust ore storage. I'm just going to stock up on Stardust ore here. I need to get into a habit. Eventually I'm going to have a habit once I get all the deviation cycles set up. So I have 2 more base plots of player plots, so 40 more deviations to place down. We're going to see how this oil facility goes. It's just going to primarily be a pumping setup, so we're not going to be using the oil deviations or anything like that. So we should have nothing but H37s and paper dolls. I'm hoping I can do a full 1818 setup. But I do believe this is about the end of the video. I do believe I have covered everything I wanted to cover about Stardust Central. I do apologize for the time it has taken to actually get this build done, to get this crazy base done. I can't wait to actually get on into, you know, what's actually about to be going on this base. But for now, I do believe this is just about the end. One final thing is, I do want to tell you we are just about at the world merge point. As a matter of fact, we are less than 14 hours away from world merge. Now, the thing about this is World 4 has been marked as the safe world and the rest of them are scheduled for deletion. I'm thinking this means my base shouldn't be uprooted. I should have, you know, the primary claim for base plots, so I hopefully don't have my bases uprooted on this world move. This is not the permanent server itself yet, so we are still season 2. We have 18 days left of season 2. 2 player plots left to do, and I hope we at least get a week or 2 of farming in on Season 2. But if not, Season 3 is probably going to be a lot of farming. It's unless Season 3 ends up being merging all the bases back as one single base again. But I really don't think it is. I want to play with these new bases I've done. I really like Stardust Central. I really like Nalcott farms, and I have a lot of fun left to do in them, and a lot of videos to make over both of these bases in all the different production things that they do actually have going on, and the amount of things you can produce on a permanent server. But I am out, guys. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.